Good evening, I'm Diane To in Hong Kong and you're watching ViuTV News. Coming up on tonight's show. Chief Executive Carrie Lam boosts Hong Kong trade ties with Thailand on the second stop of her first overseas trip. A student pilot from Hong Kong dies after a light plane crash in Australia. And more drama in the Team Trump-Russia saga as U.S. media reports say grand jury subpoenas issued over the June 2016 meeting between Donald Trump Jr., Jared Kushner, and a Russian lawyer. Good evening. We begin tonight with Chief Executive Carrie Lam's efforts to boost trade between Hong Kong and regional partners as she continues her first overseas tour since taking office. Earlier today, Lam played witness in the signing of a letter of intent to boost bilateral cooperation and investment with Thailand. The signing took place at a meeting in Bangkok with representatives from Hong Kong's Economic and Trade Office and Thailand's Business Development Department. Another key goal for the two sides is to step up the nurturing of young entrepreneurs. At the occasion, the Thai foreign minister called the CE one of the two very strong Asian women to his knowledge, with another being Myanmar leader Aung San Suu Kyi. Earlier in the day, Lam also met Thai Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha and other top government officials at Government House in the Thai capital. Now to an accident in Australia where a light plane crash has killed a 19-year-old student pilot from Hong Kong. His instructor is critically hurt. The accident happened Thursday morning when a two-seater training plane slammed into a paddock near the city of Melbourne. A witness on the ground said he heard strange noises coming from the plane's engines just before it happened. Firefighters had to free the pair by cutting open the wreckage. The two were then airlifted to local hospitals in a critical condition. The student was at Learn to Fly, a Melbourne aviation academy founded by people from Hong Kong, which also often takes in Hong Kong students. And back here locally, a 91-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of sexually assaulting his female neighbour in an elderly home in Sao Mau Ping. Police received a report from the care home on Wednesday about the alleged molestation. The male suspect was then picked up by officers this morning. A criminal investigation is now underway. Now, a taxi was trapped after a part of the road in Cheung Sha Wan caved in this morning. The cab was stuck when a section of Cheung Shun Street collapsed, forming a sinkhole with a diameter of around 1.5 meters. Police quickly cordoned off one of the road lanes. The taxi was later towed away and authorities rushed to fix the sinkhole. Now, the Chinese government conducted drills with internet service providers yesterday to shut down websites considered harmful. A number of cloud companies and internet data centers, or IDCs, were ordered to take part in the almost 3-hour drill. In a report circulated by a Guangzhou cyber police unit, the drill was designed to address the, quote, illegal dissemination of harmful information. IDCs took down a number of unnamed websites before reporting their contact details, including IP addresses and server locations, to the relevant authorities. Now, staying on the issue of the internet, U.S. authorities have detained a British researcher who earlier helped stop the spread of the WannaCry ransomware virus. Vice Media's technology website Motherboard reported that Marcus Hutchins, also known as Malware Tech Online, was arrested for allegedly creating the Kronos banking malware that steals users' bank account details. The U.S. Department has confirmed the detention in a press statement. The 23-year-old is believed to have been detained by the FBI on Wednesday after attending 2 major hacker conferences in Las Vegas. Staying in the U.S., media reports say a grand jury has issued subpoenas over the June 2016 meeting between Donald Trump Jr., Jared Kushner, and a Russian lawyer. It's the latest signal the investigation into suspected Russian meddling in the 2016 U.S. election is gathering pace. Special counsel Robert Mueller reportedly convened the grand jury probe to examine allegations made against members of Trump's campaign team. Mueller has declined to comment on the reports, and it's not known yet who exactly has been subpoenaed. At a West Virginia rally last night, President Trump continued to denounce the probe as a political witch hunt by the opposition.
The Russia story is a total fabrication. It's just an excuse for the greatest loss in the history of American politics. That's all it is. It just makes them feel better when they have nothing else to talk about.
All right, coming up next, the latest from the world of business.
Well, let's kick off with a look at the local markets. Hong Kong saw a more upbeat trading day today, with the Hang Seng closing up 0.12% after data released this morning showed the city grew by its fastest pace in 6 years. The day closed at 27,562 points. Cheung Kong Property Holdings has had a good day, up 4.31%. Hong Kong investment firm and port operator CK Hutchison, though, was the biggest loser, falling as much as 4% earlier. Hong Kong's economy expanded 4.3% in the first quarter, beating analyst expectations and putting Hong Kong on track to meet the government's 2 to 3% growth target for the year. More jobs in the city, along with a stronger stock market and property sector, helped to boost growth, but concerns about a property bubble remain. Hong Kong is still the most expensive real estate market in the world, ahead of New York, London and Sydney. Analysts say if the US Federal Reserve raises rates and if Beijing's curbs on overseas direct investment continue, Hong Kong's property sector could see a correction. Hong Kong Chief Executive Carrie Lam announced yesterday she would scrap what she called the government's miserly fiscal policy to invest more of the city's surpluses in the community. Speaking in Singapore, Lam said fiscal management provisions of the Basic Law shouldn't be interpreted too strictly. She said she plans to invest, quote, more generously for the future, adding that the government was not prohibited from running a deficit. This comes as former Chief of Hong Kong Monetary Authority Joseph Yan said yesterday the government in the past has been too, quote, stingy and should ramp up its public spending to boost the economy. Cathay Pacific will carry out an assessment on its workforce, which could affect its operations outside Hong Kong. After cutting 600 jobs at the airline's head office, Cathay's Human Resources Director Tom Owen says changes in structures are expected overseas. He made the announcement in the company's in-house staff magazine, stating, "We're starting a comprehensive review of our outports, how much they work with HQ, which will have an impact on their organizational structures. It's still unclear, though, whether this will lead to more layoffs or simply a change in job roles overseas." The airline has a total workforce of nearly 26,700, including 7,600 staff in more than 100 locations overseas. To some fresh earning reports now, and the Aussie casino giant Crown Resorts' annual profits fell by almost a sixth, missing analyst forecasts. The entertainment company says it saw fewer high rollers from the mainland, with VIP turnover almost halving. Chinese authorities arrested 19 of its staff for gambling crimes last October, and Crown has since stopped marketing its Australian casinos to mainland gamblers. It's also cancelled plans to develop new casinos. Crown shares were down more than 3% earlier. And Japanese auto giant Toyota's first quarter net income jumped 11% year-on-year to 613 billion yen. Vehicle sales jumped in Japan, North America and Europe, but fell in Asia. The Nikkei also reports that Toyota is buying a roughly 5% stake in Mazda to set up a US auto plant that will develop electric vehicle technologies. Amazon is ramping up its spending on TV shows, but it's unclear if the e-retailer's investment is paying off. Here's Havovi Cooper with more.
As Amazon expands its reach into every aspect of retail, from ebooks to groceries and clothing, one of its biggest expense items has little to do with shopping. Sources telling Reuters that video is now Amazon's second biggest consumer expense after shipping. Reuters correspondent Jeffrey Daston in San Francisco explains.
Amazon sees video as a key way to get people to sign up for its Prime Shopping Club. And the company has said, you know, it tracks very closely when people are on a free trial of Prime. Are they more likely to sign up for the $99 a year version if they are watching video or if they're not? The answer is that video helps dramatically with converting those customers, so therefore it's a worthy investment.
Analysts estimate Amazon's spending on content will have tripled since 2014 to at least $4.5 billion this year. Some of Amazon's most expensive video plays include a $10 million deal to score the distribution rights in North America to its Oscar-winning Manchester by the Sea. The company is giving few details about how those huge investments in video are paying off.
Well, if only we had time to watch TV or
really.
do online shopping.
Spoiled for choice, but time, that's true. Well, thanks very much, Grace. Now it's time for a break, but don't go away, especially for the esports buffs amongst you. We have all the action from Hong Kong's first ever esports festival.